Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, it's nice to meet you. I'm iiTzSpectreZ, and well, I just won a VTuber Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. However, before we get into it, I've got some updates for you guys. If you're just here for the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, don't worry, I segmented the video and everything just for you so you can skip all the boring, needless stuff. But anyway, yes, this is a new model. I've been slowly working on my redesign for a few weeks now, and since I currently can't afford anything as fancy as a ref sheet or a 2D model, I'm making progress in my own way. It's not exactly where I want it to be, but I'm happy. I'd also like to announce I've decided what kind of content I want to make. You see, when I first started VTubing, I didn't really have a direction I wanted to go. I saw people like Moist Critical, Okayu, Nexpo, Vanos, and Lay It Omni as inspirations for what I wanted to make and how I wanted to entertain people. I usually just made whatever came to my mind. But now I've decided, I want to continue my original plan as a horror tuber. This doesn't mean I'm going to stop making videos about video games or Yu-Gi-Oh or whatever have you. No, this just means I'm going to streamline my content from now on. I also want to try a little Coffee with Asmo news type thing, but it's going to need a little more thought put into it. Anyway, now that I'm done laying the groundwork, let's get to the actual video. I'd like to preface this by saying a few things. Number one, I've put the links to everyone's socials down in the description below, as well as a link to the deck profile and a link to the original VOD, in case anyone's interested in watching any of those. I'd also like to say that the following Sunday after this tournament took place, I actually went to another tournament in my locals and got first place. I went 5-0, and for 3 of my matches I 2-0'd everyone, and then the last 2 I went 2-1 against them. So yeah, this deck definitely has a lot going for it, I think. But anyway, on to the video. So for this tournament I was playing live Twin Eldlich. It's a deck that functions relatively like Phantom Knights, but it's a lot more reliant on its starting plays to achieve the same things that Phantom Knight normally could achieve through 1 or 2 hand traps. There's not a whole lot of extenders in this deck. Usually you have the Treat or the Frost, or like an Exceed or a backup secretary, but most of those are really just to extend beyond the normal play of making the 2 link monsters, and to offset its weak end board on Master Duel, since it doesn't have the link 4, and the fact that the strategy falls apart to a well-timed Ash Blossom or Imperm. I included the Eldlich package as a failsafe with its immeasurable value in a deck full of 1 or 2 card combos. My first match here was against GearMagi, who was playing Ancient Gears, and he was really cool. I enjoyed playing against him. And while we did take longer than we should have to finish our match, as neither of us knew if time rules were being enforced, it was a pretty good match overall. So game 1 here I opened a rather bizarre hand of double Eldlich, Ash, Exceed, and Kiss a Kill, but oddly enough that still ends on a pretty reliable inboard. You can either go for Baguska or the Dagda combo with a set Scythe and pop it on your opponent's turn, but this is all dependent on if your opponent has interruption, obviously, and thankfully for me, Magi didn't. So here you just see me go through the normal live twin combos. I'm going for the Link Disciple because I wanted to try to do the Link Disciple Link Devotee combo, but I believe I decided that just summoning Baguska was a better idea in general, since no monster effects for the opposing player is usually pretty much all you gotta do. And I didn't really have to care about cards like Lightning Storm since it was in defense position. Plus the added bonus of being able to use the Kiss a Kill to pop a card on the field, because Baguska doesn't stop the Link monsters, was really good. So here I go for the Baguska. Thankfully I'm not locked into anything just yet. Usually I end up getting locked into either Fiends, which Baguska is, so it doesn't really matter too much, or Zombies. Sometimes I also get locked into Link monsters. So here I just go for the Kiss a Kill, and the draw off of Kiss a Kill later is actually going to help me a lot. Because right now this hand doesn't do a whole lot besides the pop and the no monster effects while it's on field. So yeah, just standard live twin combo here. But I'm going to summon this Leela, and this Leela is really going to help me establish game. Because off of its effect here, when I resummon Kiss a Kill from Graveyard, it's going to give me to draw a card. And I'm actually going to draw into a Haquero. Now, the interesting thing with the Haquero here is I can use the Eldlich to ditch itself and the Haquero to send my own Leela. And the reason this is good is because I don't have to waste extra deck resources to make another Kiss a Kill, and I actually have something to send right now. And the Haquero Engrave is going to give me a Sanguine on end phase, and that's really going to help me establish a board for OTKing the next turn if they can't set up anything, or it gives me later disruptions after I've already used the Sanguine for next turn. Turn passes to Magi. Magi, unfortunately, did not open a very good hand. We talked about it for a little bit. I believe he had 2 boxes in his hand and a Gear Town, but he had nothing to pop the Gear Town with. So it was at this moment that the duel was essentially over. He set pass. I could have just used Kiss a Kill, summon Leela, popped, and then OTK'd with Eldlich next turn after putting Bakuska in attack position. But I didn't want to, you know, let the duel end so quickly, so I kind of played around and made my board, did whatever I wanted to. And then just let him have a couple of turns to see if he could come back, and he couldn't, sadly, so that was game 1. And then I took game 2, and then we move on to the next match. So, match 2 was against Rose and Crown. They were on Blue Eyes, and in the coin flip, they won, but they made me go first, which was pretty interesting. I could only assume that it was because they were playing Chaos Max in their deck, and they wanted to OTK as quickly as possible. And now, unfortunately, in my opening hand, I did not have access to the Life Twin stuff. But I thought, you know, a Haquero, 2 Imperms, and a Sanguine was alright. I figured it'd do. But I was mistaken, because they got out Chaos Max rather quickly, and this was the point where I was talking to myself and saying, God, if I had a normal summon, I could out this Chaos Max. Now, my main concern after it hit the board was, obviously, how do I out this fucking thing? Then it hit me. I can make Baguska. But sadly, I just did not have the cards to do so. I needed to link summon into something, and I didn't have any link ones that I could use from the Eldlich stuff. So my game plan was to just stall until I could hopefully get to a live twin normal summon. And that would be how I would out the Chaos Max. So you just see me start to wall up here. Order 2 Imperm, a Conk, and then a Quero effect engraved to grab Sanguine. This was pretty much just the entirety of what I did until I got to a normal summon. I pass turn, they draw. Of course, they just go battle phase. Smart thing to do. And I'm sitting here like, well, shit, okay, I guess I'm shotgunning out the Sanguine. They let it resolve. And at this point I was kind of worried about their trap. Mostly because I know that Blue Eyes have those traps that can make a Blue Eyes monster unaffected by card effects and can't be destroyed by battle. Things like that. And I also wasn't quite sure of the card text. I didn't know if it could make Blue Eyes Chaos Max unaffected by card effects, or if it was specifically a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And at this point I actually do get what I needed, the Live Twin card, and this is essentially where it started to seal up. They let it go through. And unfortunately for them, this was what got me to out the Chaos Max. So right there you saw me think about activating Eldlich, which was a terrible idea, by the way. Which is why I didn't do it, because if I had activated it I wouldn't have been able to summon the Leela from deck. And at this point I didn't know if they knew exactly how to play against the Live Twin or not. Because normally people would stop the normal summon if they know what the deck does, but I go for the Link Disciple and then I activate Exceed in hand. And then from here I just made Baguska and I made the Live Twins. Just so I could have the ability to hit over everything and then deal some damage. So at this point they're actually going to activate Skill Drain in response to the Leela summon, which you should almost never do. You always want to wait until they chain or activate the Leela or the Kiss a Kill. You never want to just shotgun it out when they hit the board, because they can just chain to it. They can just chain to whatever card you're activating, right? And at this point I had already accrued so much advantage that there was no way I was going to lose this duel. They have 2 cards in hand, I have a Conk for the Skill Drain, and then not only that, but all of the disruptions that I have at this point just really... I have an answer for every card in their hand. That was the big thing. I just go for Leela. I thought about going for Unicorn, and I was kind of being a little stupid. I thought that Bagooska had negated its effects, but I was just completely wrong, because that's not how Bagooska works, obviously. It only prevents your opponent from activating effects. It was kind of like a, duh, what the fuck what am I thinking right now? Kind of moment. So yeah, I killed the Chaos Max, past turn. I've currently got a pop, no spells, banish from grave, 2 negates, and no monster effects. With 3 cards in hand, there's absolutely no way they can play through this. Unless it's like double Lightning Storm and then a full combo normal summon or something, but I don't even think Lightning Storm can outlive this since, you know, most of these are in defense position anyway. Also, Eldlich is protected, so I summon the Leela and I pop one of their traps. And then they just set another one. Ironically, that was the trap that protects a Blue Eyes monster. Which was pretty interesting, because I was sitting here reading it and I was like, this card is busted as hell, what in God's name? I wish I had one of these for my decks. They just go to end phase, and then this was pretty much it. This is just where I went battle phase, popped all their spells and traps with Phoenix and Nightmare, Unicorn. Then I just killed them. Then, second game I ashed their Advanced Ritual Art. They summoned Alternative, but I had answers to it. After popping it and breaking their board, I just ended up killing them in roughly the same way. So yeah, on to the next match. Now, this next match was actually pretty interesting. I was playing against Spectre, who was playing DDD. He had told me that he initially wanted to play Zark Magicians going into the tournament, but he instead thought that DDD would probably have more success. Now, he's gonna win the die roll here, and he's gonna obviously go first. Unfortunately, I don't think he opened the greatest of hands. If I remember correctly, he said, oh, well, this could be better. But I didn't have any interaction, so of course he just kind of was able to go off, do his own thing. I did draw the Artifact Scythe here, which I don't think I got to do the Dagda combo against anybody in this tournament, funny enough. I don't think I ever really needed it, because after game 1 I kind of just thought it was mid since I already knew everyone's strategies, and if you just stop them early, then there's really no reason to Scythe lock them. He's gonna make Flame King Genghis and use Swirl Slime to summon from hand. And then from here I believe he made the Link monster. So he just makes his whole board. I was a little confused with some plays, because I wasn't sure what build of DDDs he was running. It seemed a lot more like a stun or control variant of DDD, rather than the combo variant. I was so used to seeing the combo variant running around on Master Duel or things like, I don't know, Yugioh Pro or something, that it just didn't really sit in well. You're gonna make Super Doom King Dark Armageddon here, and funny enough, right, I'm pretty sure this is the one that protects his monsters from being destroyed by card effects. Thankfully I can still target them, so if I had Eldlich I can still do that. But unfortunately I didn't have Eldlich. So I was kind of just sitting here thinking, how do I out this big beefy boy? because I've got no fucking clue. I go secret password, see if I can proc anything that he's got, and well, he had human resources, which is something. So from here he grabs Zero and Nicola, which I could only assume were the skills that he primarily uses. Then I finally resolve secret password. And I believe from here I grabbed Sunny Snitch, so that I could just go ahead and grab an extra piece in case he stopped the kiss and kill. Activate Sunny Snitch and then I grab the Leela. I had to double check my hand here because I kind of forgot which one I had and I was like, oh shit, I need to figure out which one I had before I search off of this. I do that a lot actually. I tend to have to look at my hand and then look back at my deck. So then I just go through the entire Link Disciple, Link Devotee line. Exceeds effect procs. Obviously, Spectre doesn't have anything else to really go for. So I was kind of looking through my extra deck like, how do I out this thing? I hovered over Unicorn for a second because I knew that Unicorn would out it. But I was kind of weighing my options because I could also just go Baguska. I could also, like I'm doing right here, go for Unicorn, pop the set, and then see what I grab off the draw. And then go into Unicorn immediately afterward. It was just a best course of action. So I get rid of a pretty much dead-end perm that's not really going to help me. And then what do you know, I draw Eldland off the top. Isn't that fun? I get to pay 8 and feel great, baby. So I do that, and then at this point, there's really no reason to go into Unicorn anymore, because I'm grabbing Eldlich and I can just send and then summon. But from here, we do the Kisako line. I think I wanted to draw another spell or trap here to get a discard. And I think that's exactly what I actually get, which is kind of funny. If I remember correctly, anyway. Summon the Leela, get the draw. And it was indeed a spell or trap, so I just went ahead and did the Eldlich effect, ditch the Eldland I just drew. And then we sent the big boy. At this point, this game was also pretty much over. There's a it's a recurring theme where if I am able to complete my Life Twin combo and then I also get Eldlich effect in hand, and then I just make Nightmare Phoenix and or Unicorn. Usually that's usually when I can just close out the games. Every game I made Unicorn or Phoenix in this tournament, I won. So. We did talk a little bit about the deck building choices. and what kind of strategy he was going for here. Because he runs Contract with Eternal Darkness, and sadly they don't have the new field spell in the game, or Griffin for that matter, which is kind of a fat rip. But yeah, from here I was just reading Gilgamesh, because I had never seen Gilgamesh resolve. This was the first time I'd ever killed Gilgamesh by battle. Usually I'd just unicorn it away. I thought it'd be pretty funny to use Griffin to hit Alexander even though it does nothing. Then of course having Imperial Order and Scythe on back row is crazy as hell. No spell effects, no spell cards I guess actually, and then no extra deck. There's very few lines of play you would need to do to be able to play through both of those. You would need a lot of advantage. You'd need like double MST DD Crow, I think. And then that only really deals with that portion of the interruptions. Then you also have to deal with Griffin and then the Leela pop. So here I just summon Leela and then I pop the Alexander. Funny thing too, I found out that Spectre and I were actually relatively close to each other as far as where we lived is, because we go to the same locals. And this was one of those moments where I was like, wow, small world, huh? So then here this was just game, I went battle and just killed him. But anyway, I took game 1. Game 2 it went pretty much the same. I went first, established the Evil Twin board, and then established my Eldlich stuff. And that was pretty much all it boiled down to. Conk is a pretty powerful card against DDD, and so were the Evil Twins for that matter. So yeah, that was my third match. Interestingly enough, this final match was against Altergeist, and the pilot's name was SenpaiVT. Of course, you guys should go check out all of these people. They were a lot of fun to talk to and play with while this was going on. They were all just major sweethearts. And again, I've linked all of their Twitters and everything down in the description, as well as the link to the original VOD. But they won the die roll. Of course they're going first because they're playing Altergeist. They opened the Marionetter, which was kind of a painful thing to see happen, because they get Protocol here, and of course they also opened Pot of Prosperity. Woo! I do have an Ash though, so it's not too big of a deal. Of course I Ash it. I've still got Live Twin and Exceed, which is really good. However, against Altergeist, it's probably not resolving. And then the Imperial Order is just kind of sitting there doing jack shit, because we all know that Order does quite literally nothing to Altergeist. And well, when I say that this Altergeist build was something else, by the Lord, it was something else. Because I don't think I've ever seen Altergeist summon as many times in a turn as this specific list has. So big props to SenpaiVT for making me actually a little afraid of Altergeist, because usually they just don't seem to really do much of anything besides set back row and then get blown out by spell and trap removal. So this hand was generally mid, mostly because I was going second. Didn't really have much to deal with boards here. Of course they had the protocol, so they're gonna negate the live twin by sending an extra, and that was really all that needed to be said about this game. They also activated Contact C, which I've never seen anybody activate Contact C ever. So that was a pretty funny thing. They just gave me a free body, which I thought was kind of cute. But yeah, I just set order and conk here. They get the Hexgia effect. I did end up losing this game. It went to game 2 and then game 3. I did take game 2 and 3, however. But I'm only going to be doing a commentary of the game 1s from every match, so... Here I kind of just had a body. They use Manifestation and just special back the Hexgia. By this point I knew that this game was essentially over because they're just going to protocol my next normal summon, and also they had the Faker, so you know, not too much you can do about that. And now, while I couldn't recover from everything they had done in game 1, it was absolutely crazy to me to see Altergeist summon more than 5 times in one turn. I was actually surprised that I would have been able to Nibiru them had I actually had Nibiru in my deck. It was astounding. But yeah, I lost game 1. Rightfully so too. And then game 2 I ended up taking it, and then I also took game 3. I went 4-0 with Evil Twin Eldlich. So pretty good, I think, right? Anyway, I'll be leaving a link to the deck profile that I used in the description if anyone's interested. And if you would like to see more of this content, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and all of that good shit. And iiTzSmo is out. I will see you guys later.